How you going, people? Okay, so let's go back and I'm gonna I'm gonna start doing follow-ups on some of these videos where I get good questions and good comments and idiots, um, so I can kind of explain what's going on in the comments. And then sometimes it helps me clear up because sometimes I don't cover things and people ask good comments. Sometimes people answer correctly, sometimes they don't. Um, it all depends, That's why when you ask a question on the internet, there's no way to really validate or qualify who's answering because everyone sounds like an uh, expert on the internet. So let's go through. This is the video where the cop was shooting through the windshield, Las Vegas, and he does his high stress reload, tries to put the mag in backwards, takes a bad grip, etc. And I think I'm gonna do a separate video on that because this is a perfect example on why people teach and why tactical, real life situations explain fight or flight. So let's go through these comments and we're going to talk about them as we go through. Sounds illegal. Okay, this is, you know what? Look, guys have contests on here to get first. It's kind of funny. They have contests among each other. There's always got to be somebody here that wants to crack on them and say, get a life or what. Look, these guys are having fun getting first. Sometimes they make good first comments. They're smart. They're rattling back and forth. It's just good fun, man. Relax, people. Just because you can't be first and you're last, don't cry about it. Shake and bake. All right. So let's go through here. Good morning. Stumble across mix. Third, fifth. I want a foot mic or a loudspeaker so I can yell at people. Well, the foot mic is for the radio. It's not for the PA. Now, I guess you could hook it up to where it would work for the PA, but traditionally the foot mic is about the bottom. If you turn a coffee cup upside down, it's about that big of a round, so it's easy to find with your foot. It's on the far left. For the old timers, it's where the bright light button used to be. And there was a little button on the floor that you push with your foot for the bright lights to go on and off. Well, that's where the foot mic goes. So you can use your off foot and you still have your foot for the gas, etc. Again, I thought it was handy. I liked it. Let's see here. Interesting how quick the video release. So I'm going to go through here and try to explain these as I find something. I wish the police were allowed to malfunction their cameras every time they commit a crime. I'm thinking this means you shouldn't be able to turn off a camera. I'm kind of with you with that. When cameras first came out, you couldn't turn them off. They were automatically activated. They were stored in the trunk, and only a supervisor could pull the tape. Didn't mean there wasn't supervisors pulling tape and erasing them. But let's see. I live in Vegas. Interesting. If it's not 4 stripes on us, what am I looking at? Okay, a lot of people are talking about, because I said this guy might be a rookie. A rookie is defined in different ways, okay? Again, I know a lot of women who have been on the job for 10 years and they've never made a felony arrest. They're always the last one of the scene. They get a back office job. They go work in a jail. They want to work in the courts. They want to work somewhere to where they don't have to do really police work. They just want to carry the badge, gun, and say they're a police woman or a police person or a police whatever. Whatever the term of the day is and what bathroom they get to use. So stripes on the arm are called hashtags. They're usually means how long a cop's been a cop. And some agencies allow you to transfer them, some don't. If a guy's been on CHP for 20 years and he transfers to LAPD, which they would never take him because he was CHP, but I digress. Let's just stick with that. If you have 20 years on and you go to a new agency, a lot of agencies let you keep your years of service hashtags. So you could be a rookie at a new agency and have a lot of hashtags. But that just means you have time on the streets. Now, I've always said, and I say the same thing about horses, just because you've owned a horse your whole life doesn't mean you know what the hell you're doing about horses. And just because you've been a cop for 10 or 15 years don't mean you know what the hell you're doing. If in those 10 or 15 years the only thing you've done is parking and speeding tickets and then transported somebody when someone else made an arrest, you can have 20 years on and you still don't know shit. I call that you have 1 year experience 20 times. That's a lot different than 3 years of experience of actually going out and doing things new and different for 3 years. That's why task force, different jobs, they give you a lot more experience in a shorter time. If you work in a bad area where you're fighting for your life every night and you're making felony arrests and you're getting guns and dope, you're going to have 10 years experience in 6 months. Whereas someone else working in a neighborhood that's rich and all they do is go to somebody left the hose on, or somebody used my bicycle without permission, or they work on a college campus and their biggest call is a bicycle theft, even if they got 20 years and 14 hash marks on their arm, they still a rookie and they don't know what the hell they're doing when it comes to tactical high-risk situations. Okay? So sometimes I will use terms that I think cops get. I know a lot of you aren't cops and you don't get that, so this is why I'm going over these comments. Okay, time on the job does not equal experience. There's a big difference between time and experience. All right, what else we got here? The officer has 4 stripes. Probably not a rookie. See, everybody's jumping. Everybody wants to be right. Everybody wants to point out, oh, Rick made a mistake. He called the guy a rookie. And since he has 4 stripes of service, he can't be a rookie. Therefore, Rick's wrong. And I'm right, and I'm smart, and I stayed at the Holiday Inn Express. Woohoo, look at me. You know, it just gets old with these comments. Look, if you want to correct and say, hey, a guy with 4 stripes probably has 12 years of service, probably not a rookie, I would agree with that. And this guy put a correct question mark. But some of the other comments, you know, it's just sometimes there's a bunch of right fighters on YouTube and in comments and social media, and it's usually the people that don't have their real name or their face, so they get to say and be who they really can't be in person. So they really like to get tough on the internet. And I'm not saying this guy's bad or anything. I'm just pointing out kind of when I read this shit, it just gets old. All right, question. In the age of live stream, why not resource this for pursuits? I'm not sure what that means. But anyway, let's see. I have to say I would like to have this done, a glass car. Okay. Well, now, he's got some holes in the windshield, needs to just clear out some glass. And, you know, you could kick the glass out if it was long-term and it was affecting your vision. I mean, he's lucky the windshield didn't spiderweb. That's another problem. The only reason the windshield didn't spiderweb is because you're shooting with such velocity and it's going through. It's like cutting a perfect hole in a piece of dough with a cookie cutter. But had you punched the windshield, you would get that spider web and lose it because your hand wouldn't go through like a bullet does. Let's see. Mike Tyson, everybody's got a plan until you get punched in the face. That's very true. Everybody's knows what to do, and everybody's going to come here and tell me what they should have done and what they could have done and how I'm wrong and how their training is right. And you know what? Until you show me a video of what you got, I don't really care. I'm not here to compete with any of you guys. I'm here to pass on my information. If you don't like it, leave. I mean, I get 3,000 views and I only get like 200 likes. I'm like, everybody subscribes and watches these videos for some reason, and nobody wants to hit like. Not that I care. It's just mind-boggling to me that I'm putting out something that helps people. I know I get a lot of great comments and I have a lot of viewers, but it's like, how can I have 5,000 views and only 200 likes? I mean, if you don't like any of my video, why are you subscribed and why are you watching other than to bitch? All right, I digress. Let me get going here. Cops playing a little too much James Bond. Yeah, okay. Shooting through the window. I'm not a big fan of it either. You were a bit tough on the officer. I don't think I was tough on the officer at all. Okay, he stopped and eliminated threat. Maybe. Maybe he shot 14 civilians that we don't know about. Maybe there's a bunch of civilians coming out with their cars and they're wondering how that bullet hole got in their windshield. And the cops will be taking a report saying, hey, there was a bullet hole. You think they're going to trace it back to this cop and pay the guy and buy the guy a new one? Maybe there's a bunch of bullets flying around out there that we're never going to find. Rick, you were a little tough on him. You should have gave him a donut and said good job. Whatever. All right. Plus, one-hand shooting just like yesterday. Let's go. Steering wheel, two-handed grip. Come on. All right. Whatever. And this is kind of what goes through my mind when I'm reading these. I personally think it's wrong to shoot while driving unless you're under fire. I would agree with that. If I'm shooting through the windshield, I got a guy coming at me. I'm either trapped in the car and I can't get out and I have to return immediate fire. He's going to shoot me. Then I'm shooting through a windshield. But I'm probably going to be parked or stopped. And if I'm able to throw it in reverse or spin or turn or create distance, then I'm not going to have to do that. So will I say I would never shoot out of a windshield? No. Would I say you need a policy that you shouldn't shoot or it's against policy to shoot? No, I wouldn't. Because there's just too many scenarios where that's why when people go, oh, cops need more training. You cannot train for every scenario. Cops would be in training 365 days a year and there'd be nobody on the streets. If you had as much training as all the idiots that come here and go, cops need more training, cops need more training. That's a training issue. Cops need more training. Sometimes it's a training, sometimes it's a policy, sometimes it's a mindset, sometimes it's aggressiveness of the PD, the mayor, the chief, how they want things run, whether the sergeant, what unit you're working, are you in a friendly area to where you're not expecting to get shot every day, or whether you're in a gang infested area to where you know you're probably going to get shot at every day. So there's so many factors, and everybody wants to come here and go, they need training, they need more training. Every time you say you need more training, you cost thousands, if not millions of dollars of taxpayer money, and just because you train a cop doesn't mean he's going to retain it, doesn't mean he's going to buy into it, and doesn't mean he's going to use it. It's not a training issue, it's an accountability issue. Either the chief, the sergeant, the department, somebody has to pay besides the taxpayers. And right now, the only people to pay are the taxpayers. So it's not a training issue. All right, let's see. Idiots pursuing recklessly handling a 4,000-pound weapon. He's talking about the car as a 4,000-pound weapon. I agree. This cop is driving like that. He could have killed a lot of people. I mean, I'm agree. I got to chase somebody. If they're shooting at me, I'm chasing them till the ends of the earth. But that's me. Let's see. And if a supervisor tries to call me off pursuit, my radio is going to be staticky and I'm going to miss the transmission. Rick, you can't do that. That's against the... Shut up, you big dumb... All right, I doubt if it'll change much. Throwing straws defense under... I don't understand this. Sometimes people comment on different videos, and I'm on one video. I'm like, what the hell are they talking about? I agree. There should not be a policy of shooting through the windshield. I would not shoot. Okay. Great breakdown. Okay. I trained slingshot method. It made sense to me. I was a slide stop guy release. Look, I'm going to say it again. I don't care what you use. I don't care if you go out there and shoot yourself in the foot, laser yourself, put the gun in your ear, use a bullet for a freaking ear plug. I don't care. I'm just telling you from my experience and my training what I taught and why I taught it, and why it's been proven that this is more effective and this increases. The slingshot method increases your chance of survivability when you're under high stress. Now, I know I'm going to have all these experts coming here quoting all these other people. I know I'm going to have green screen coming here telling me, you know what, if you got good pepper spray, you don't even need a slingshot because you'll never have to use your gun and you don't have to draw your gun, and a gun is too aggressive because I'm a social justice. Whatever. I'm telling you, when I'm telling you something, I'm not doing it because it's my great idea and I love it and I think it's perfect and I came up with it. I'm telling you because I believe it. I taught it. I've seen it in action. I've seen it in training videos. I've seen it in actual situations. I've experienced it, and that's what I believe. I don't care if you believe it or use it. That's where people lose me, is when they want to come here and start arguing about stuff and start trying to tell me I'm wrong. I don't care if you think I'm wrong. Don't use it. Don't listen and don't watch. I don't care. I don't know how I can get that through people's mind. Good video. Thanks for coming here. Yeah, and I appreciate you guys saying good video. And I read those and I'm like, okay, cool. I'm getting some positive feedback. And I appreciate the questions and the honest things. What I don't appreciate is the idiots coming here trying to prove how smart they are. Let's see. The driver punk jumped. What the hell is that? Is that supposed to be punch drunk? The passenger hop, driver's hop. Funny that they reacted. Pull over. Cop hit a few times. Crazy shootout. Smoked the fat boy homeboy. He got what the what? Yeah, okay. Let's see. One more comment, Rick. I was wondering at the end, why did the cops not box him in when he hit the ball SUV? I agree. Somebody should have boxed him in. But a lot of cops who were thinking, I'm not boxing in and putting myself at danger so some guy doesn't get away. I'm not going to pull my car close enough. They're already shooting at cops. They got rifles. I got a pistol. I'm trapped in my car with my seatbelt. Do I really want to put my car in contact with him just to trap him so he can shoot out the back window with a rifle and take me out? That could be the reason they didn't do it. I agree. If you can box a guy in and stop it going mobile, that's all good. But I think when somebody's armed in a gun and they've already demonstrated they're shooting at officers, I'm not so sure I'm getting my car close enough to do it unless I'm ramming them. Now, I got no problem if he stops and somebody hits him at 60 miles an hour and broadsides him, because then he ain't shooting. He's dropping a gun. We're both getting high impact, but I'm stopping him and I'm stopping a pursuit. I might do that, but I don't know if I'm going to use my car to box him in when I'm trapped in the car. What does this guy say? I would guess he didn't want to get locked in a position so close people should... Good. Exactly what I just said, except I didn't read this. I was just going off the comment. I might have read it earlier, but again... tactics don't change a whole bunch. Let's see. This is why you need to learn to drive with your knees. It's beneficial. I agree. I always drove with my knee, eating burgers, etc. I'm not sure going 60 miles an hour dodging traffic with your knee is good. Hey, Rick, when you have the time, can we go think like a dog? Yeah, I got to do a doggy video. I've been thinking about it, but I just haven't got to it. Let's see. I've been there with regular shooting part. You gross motor movements. What the fuck? That's what comes with training. I go back to LEA 90s, stuck in the 60s. That's true. There's a lot of agencies that are stuck with 60s training. CHP is prime example. For years, they made their cops dump their brass in their hand and put it in their pocket. And I told you about the guys that got killed because of it. When they got in an actual shootout, all the dead cops had brass in their pockets because that's the way they trained, and they didn't want to have to pick up brass, and they did bad training, and cops learned it, and in a crisis, they went back to their training and dumped their rounds in their hands and put the brass in their pocket. That's the most classic example of what I call negative training and bad training. Let's see here. He's a 20 years. What was that? He should have put out the vehicle description. Normally, dispatchers here on Hot Stops Felony, they'll call it out. Some dispatchers are good, some aren't. Some don't give a shit. Some are thinking ahead. Some have good experience, some don't. You got 20-year dispatchers that all they want to do is sit there and read, and they don't want to be bothered. You've got 2-year dispatchers that like working the hot calls, that like being involved and like being busy. And they got more experience than the 20-year. So it's not just, to cops. There's good and bad in all agencies. Everybody works in an agency where people have been around a long time and they suck, and somebody's been around for 4 or 5 years and they're hot shit. So, it all depends. Been waiting for this one. My ears are bleeding watching a gunfire in a car. I agree. Man, that gunfire in a car. Now remember, fight or flight, your body's natural thing, you get auditory exclusion. It shuts down your hearing. I've heard gunshots many a times in a crisis, and it sounds like pop, pop. My ears don't ring, and I'm kind of like, why aren't my ears ringing? If I accidentally shoot a gun on the range without earplugs, my ears ring and it hurts like hell because I'm not in fight or flight. So fight or flight does give you some protection to the loud bang. Does it stop you from a flashbang being going off? Maybe. It may lessen it. Probably not. Excellent review, crazy situation. Yep. Policy should be immediate. Dispatcher, ambulance. Okay. Policy should be immediate to dispatch, ambulance, and fire and EMT. When an officer is shot, I believe that. But remember, EMT and ambulance, they do not go into hot zones. They do not go into insecure zones, and they will not go. You can't have an ambulance following a pursuit. Hey, we got a pursuit. They're shooting. Somebody's probably going to get hurt. Hey, ambulance, can you just follow behind the pursuit? That's not going to happen. Ambulances and fire need a location. They need an address. You can't dispatch an ambulance and fire to a moving, rapidly changing location. They're not going to respond. Plus, you don't want a big-ass fire truck running around code 3 for an hour pursuit just in case somebody gets shot. So this sounds good, but it's not practical. Now, once the scene stops, then I would agree. An ambulance sergeant, somebody should say, hey, and we would usually just say, stage me fire, ambulance at here. If I knew there was a cop or there was a bad shooting, or I knew it wasn't stable and we were setting up a perimeter and we had an armed guy, I would say, get an ambulance here and staged if somebody was hurt. Can we stage a block away? You can stage them at the inter-control point. If a situation is going to be long-term and you're going to set up a command center or a control point, usually you will have an ambulance staged at that area and fire in case there's a fire, in case we need the fire hose, in case we need the ladder to get to a high building, etc. So staging these once you have a stopped location is good. But to have them rolling during a pursuit sounds good, not a good idea, not practical. I'm not cracking on this guy. I'm just trying to explain it. If fan butts, coconuts. All right. Make people. Oh, somebody said here, I wonder, does the department go over these videos? Departments will go over something like this in what's called an after-action report. And they'll say, we had some policy violations, and we're updating our policy to include this because during this incident, we didn't like this. And this policy is changing. And we did notice that some officers weren't following policy because they did X, Y, and Z. So they will have an after-action report, but normally they're not going to show a video like I am and talk about this guy because cops are kind of brutal and we kind of eat our own. When you get in a very type A personality, very meat-eating, macho kind of career field or element where you got a military cops, fighters, MMA guys, and when you get in those environments, those people have egos and they have pride. and they have, you know, it's kind of, you got to be careful. And you don't want, I don't want, you know, if I was working in this guy's agency, I probably wouldn't make a video about him because I wouldn't want everybody else to go, yo, dude, did you see that video? You suck. That dude dogged you. And they would just rag him. Now, other people will take it as a good training opportunity and say, hey, there was a lot of good things that came out of this. The guy who's in this video may watch this video and he may go, man, this dude's a dick. He didn't know I was this. I've been here. I've done this. I got all this experience. He don't know what the hell he's talking about. And the only reason and he'll have an excuse for everything he did wrong, maybe. Or maybe he'll be like, you know what? This shit went crazy fast. I was shaking. I had tremors. Fight or flight kicked my ass. I didn't control my breathing as well as I should. I didn't slow down as well as I should. I got a little out of control. You know what? This guy who did the video on me was right. I let fight or flight take over me a little bit, and I could have done things better. That's how you grow and learn, people. I'm not doing this to bash cops or to make this guy look bad. I'm doing this as a learning opportunity for people who may never experience this. Another thing that's going on is a lot of things I'm talking about, things that most civilians will do, they won't get to the competency level of a cop. Why? Because their competency level is dictated on their training. And most people will never train as much as a cop does every day. Because a cop is driving every day, he's pulling his gun every day, he's dealing with bad guys every day, he's booking, he's defending what he's done, he's got his gun out, he goes to the range. Cops have more experience in a week than most civilians will, even if they went to training for a week. Because it's real life, it's unpredictable, it's not structured, it's not safe. Uh-oh, all the safety sallies. What? It's not safe. I need a range master, and I got to have my ear protection, eye protection, and my gloves and protect. Real life isn't like that. And cops can't deal with it that way. So our experience is different. And when it comes to military and police, rules of engagement are different. Your tactics are different. Your ability to identify the enemy is different. You're not policing a citizen. You're involved in a combat and war situation. So a lot of things change. Can they cross-reference? Yes. Can they intertwine and be used in the same? Yes. But they still are different in their own ways, and they're alike in other ways. So don't think that just because a guy's in the military and can throw a freaking frag grenade through a door and enter with 5 guys with long guns and treat everybody as a hostile target is going to be able to do the same thing in a peacetime environment in a neighborhood where you have fields of fire and you don't have long guns and you're probably outgunned and you don't know if the guy inside is either armed or not, and you don't know if he's enemy or foe. And now military will come across situations like this, and sometimes we're policing and we're doing police actions in the military, so they're interlinked, but they are not absolutes to where one will cross-train the other. A guy who's been on the streets in a high neighborhood would not do good in a combat situation. A guy who's been in LA in the hood and shooting Newton District or in a high gang area, he would do better in a combat situation, but there would still be a learning curve. There would still be things that he would have to change, but the learning curve would be shorter because he's going to have experience to pull from. He's going to have fight or flight. He's going to have real life using. Combat guys who have combat, shot, and fired, they're going to have real life experience. Their learning curve is going to be different. You're going to be able to adjust on the fly easier than somebody who's never experienced it. So, you know, everybody's going to take this training at a different level. I even forgot what the hell I was talking about or what I was answering. Let's see. Same damn things happen in the Army. All these people saying never had to do it. That's true. I've got guys that were in the military for 20 years, and I wouldn't trust them with a gun behind me to save my life. You know, and I got young guys that came in that I train with that I know what they're doing, and I would take them with 1 or 2 years experience than the 20-year. So don't think experience equates or time and service equates to experience. Keyboard warriors know best. Yeah. Damn thing. All right. Let's see. What else we got here? I'm trying to get to the main comments. Discharging a firearm. This guy's quoting some NSR. I'm not sure what that is. I would have to Google it, but I really don't care. Licensed hunters, etc. This guy's quoting about shooting from structures or buildings and how it can be against the law. Nobody knows every law, but all right. And I don't mind. I'm not cracking on it. Somebody's like, why are you cracking on me? You're just trying to share. I'm not. I'm just saying, when I read these comments and they're not really related, I don't really know how to respond. Or, great, somebody may find that comment helpful. I just didn't. Not saying that it shouldn't have made. I'm not deleting it. I'm not blocking the guy. I'm not cracking on him. Take it easy. Let's see. What are the 4 bars on his sleeve? Is that rank? Somebody put longevity. Longevity is different. One hash bar at one agency, maybe 3 years. At another agency, it may be 4 years. Another agency, it may be 5 years. So different agencies have different things. Some agencies let you do it. This guy says my agency, 5 years of service. And they use stars instead of stripes. Let's see here. The 4 bars on a sleeve means he's got 12 to 16, perhaps not a rookie. Okay, Steve, good call. Ooh, man. Just because a guy has 16 years of service, he may not be a rookie in the standard definition of a new guy, but it damn sure doesn't mean he's an experienced, tactical, on his A game, hostile, violent, meat eater, been in a lot of situations to where he's got good experience to pull from. He can still be a rookie. A guy who's never worked gangs and only worked patrol, when he goes to a gang unit, they call him a rookie. A guy that's never worked auto theft, if you go to an auto theft task force, you're a rookie. Because most of the guys who've been doing that for 10 years have forgotten more than you'll know. So the term rookie can be deceiving. I used it in this video, and I've got people coming out of the woodwork that I was wrong, and he's not a rookie. I should have known that. Damn. I just can't be perfect even though I try. All these people keep catching me. All right, let's see. Hello, gun people, sound of Iraq. I kind of like that. I think your experience tell okay. Devil worship destroy. What the hell? Comments. Let's see here. I don't know what the hell that big comment is. When I get Jesus Christ, that's a long comment. All right, flashback. I cringed when I saw the thumb across the back resulted in a severed tendon on a slide. And again, that's not taught. That's not trained. And people will be like, he needs more training. He wasn't trained to do that. He did it because he was in an oh shit moment. He did what worked. He grabbed the gun as best he could, and his grip wasn't perfect like he trained. Oh well, shit happens. If he cuts his hand, guess what? He's not going to feel it. It's not going to hurt him. He's going to stay in the fight, and he's going to keep going. That's not a disabling blow if that slide hits him. Would I recommend that? No. Would I say shoot more the right way so you reprogram the brain, that muscle memory? Yes. Did this guy maybe shoot revolvers and automatics? And maybe that's why he got cross-referenced. His mind got overtasked. I don't know. Great review. Thanks. Thank you. You're cool military terms. I don't know what the hell that means. Let's see. Very much appreciated. Thanks. Holy crap. Underestimate how flight. Most people underestimate fight or flight. I push that because I've seen it take so many good people out. I've seen so many crazy things done when a person's in flight or flight. I'm like, what the hell? I go back to the cop that threw his own damn gun over the fence and decided to fight the guy, but he didn't want him to take his gun because he had just shot somebody. So he threw his gun over the neighbor's fence to get rid of it so the guy, in case he lost the fight, the guy wouldn't take his gun and kill him. I mean, I would never do that. It's never taught. But he went in fight or flight. This is one scene where a cop got shot in Vallejo. And you know what? That's what he did. Nobody can explain it. People will call him an idiot. People talk shit about him and say he was a fool. He was a long-term veteran, 20-year sergeant that did it. And he had just killed a guy a week earlier. And you know what? He dealt with it the way he did. I don't necessarily agree with it. I don't think I would do it. But I'm not going to question the guy because I wasn't in his shoes with his experience and his recent killing of somebody. So to me, wasn't that big of a deal. To other people, it was a huge guy. You can't trust him. He's going to throw his gun away. He fucking shouldn't be a cop. Get rid of. I mean, you know, everybody's going to react differently. Over the years, I've kind of learned to kind of accept things that I don't understand. Let's see. Where are those bullets going? God forbid innocent people are getting shot. I agree. I don't know where the hell they're going. You know what? The guys shooting them don't know where they're going. And there's a saying that you never fire a gun unless you know where the bullet's going. That's a great saying, and it's great for range training, and it may be great for green screen training, but when an oh shit moment and you're returning fire, guess what? You're not thinking about where your bullets are going. You're thinking about getting suppressive fire, get this guy to stop shooting at you, living and making it out of here. You'll worry about the range stuff and the green screen stuff later. You're not going to worry about it in a crisis. But that's the difference between actual been there and people who have read about it and then tell you how smart they are because they read a book. Let's see. Service stripes, 3 years. Good video at the end. AK shotgun cabin. Instead, I wouldn't fire a rifle either from a cabin. But anyway. shit. Did I go too far down? Where am I? I lose my place? Oh, Rick, you're wrong again. He was a veteran cop because he has stripes on his sleeve. Well, damn. Thanks, Mr. Law Enforcement Explains. You're really smart. Wow, I didn't know that. God, what would I do without these people coming here pointing out all these errors? I'm just so incompetent that you come here and watch me. What? It gets old. People are like, Rick, you should just ignore. You read this crap every day of everybody being an expert and telling you, and it just gets old. Damn. I'm trying to watch, but my buck keeps eating my fruit trees. What the hell? This dude's can't watch my video because his dog's chasing a deer eating his trees. Alrighty. I think this video is one of your best I watched. Thanks, Small School Marine. Ambidextrous, jacked up, cool video. Alright. Let's see. Now, I'm reading these fast for the time, but I normally read these, and like I said, I'll drink my coffee in the morning and just go through every one of these comments. Did you know, don't know any reputable tactical school that calls for using the slide stop for the exact reasons you articulate. Now, look, I agree with that, and I teach not the slide stop only because, again, using the slingshot method is the same way you would clear a malfunction. It's the same way you clear and load from a stop. So, but am I saying that if you use the slide stop, you're an idiot, you're bad, and you're incompetent? No, I'm not. And people are going to come here, you should do both. You should never tell me. I've never said you should only use a slingshot and should never, ever use a slide stop. I think the more you use the slide stop, the more you interfere with muscle memory of using a slingshot. If you want to use both, great. If you want to say both in your great. Look, I don't care. You can practice 15 ways to get the slide forward. I don't care. I'm just telling you the slingshot has multiple uses. It does multiple things, and it instills muscle memory. It compresses the spring. It gives you a full release. And then I'm going to have somebody else come here. That's the other thing that they always come. Well, some people, when they use a slingshot, they ride the slide forward. Well, they're doing it wrong. You know, I mean, I can't help you. I've never said ride it forward. But you want to come here and argue, and it just gets so old dealing with these internet experts that use fake names, that don't put videos of them shooting, that don't put their resume. I mean, somebody please send me a resume for green screen guy. I hear he was in the Navy. I hear he's got all this training. Send me a resume. Send me something other than I'm a preacher and therefore you got to believe me because I'm close to God. Whatever. All right, I can't believe he didn't break his thumb when he crossed. Yeah, well, I guess I didn't like that. See this blue when I like it? I know I reviewed the comment. So when I find a comment that I didn't review, I know I missed it. You don't even have. Oh, that's why. This is the kind of things that kind of get me flagged for a racist channel. Now I can click this and hide all his comments, and that will block him. I can report it for spam or abuse, and it will go away, or I can just delete it, and I'll remove that comment. Rick, you can't remove comments. That's sensitive. Shut up, you big dummy. The only critiques I have is the radio traffic needed to be more direct. Magazine change could have been done, but all in all, that's hindsight. No shit, it's hindsight. That's why I call it reviewing a video. If it was actually happened, I wouldn't be reviewing it. I'd be involved in it. Thanks, Ben. Damn, all these great critiques. I'm just so glad that everybody comes here and keeps telling me how right they are and smart they are. All right, let's see. He was watching a suspect fumble mag change. He should have been able to, with his eyes closed. Maybe. He was hyped up. I agree. Mag change was embarrassing to watch. It was embarrassing to watch to me. Look, I've done 1,000, 10,000 mag changes in my life. But you know what? If I get shot and I'm in pain and I'm overwhelmed and I'm getting shot at by 3 people and I've got an oh shit moment and I'm like, holy shit. Guess what? I may screw up a mag change too. So what? I've done it 10,000 times before. I'm not cracking on the guy for being incompetent. I'm using him as an example to show how fight or flight and the over senses, when your senses take over in your body and your automatic, sympathetic nervous system, non-sympathetic, when all these things start happening, adrenaline dump, auditory exclusion, heart rate goes up, blood pressure, lungs, eyes dilate, when all that happens in a split second, shit happens and you are not in control as you are, has the mighty range guys that come here and tell you, well, if you practice it at the range, you'll do it when it happens. Yeah, okay, great. You're an idiot. I'm telling you, people make mistakes when shit hits a fan. And I'm not here dogging on them or money quarterbacker and saying I'm perfect and they're bad. I'm saying it happens. Here's why it happens. Here's how you can increase the chances with good training to maybe prevent it, slow it, or when it does happen, it will allow you to realize it and you can correct it quicker than if it happens. You're like, holy shit, why did this happen? This never happened before. I've done this. Why? And you start, and that creates lag time, and that's the time you get killed. People think this guy did a great job, and I think he did do a good job. He survived. I don't care. Bad guys lost, he won. He did a good job. That's a win for me. Could he have done it better? Yes. Did he make some mistakes? Yes. Did fight or flight get the best of him? Yes. Okay. If that car would have had 3 guys in it and 1 guy was laying down and he didn't come up until that car crashed and that cop had his gun upside down trying to put the mag in backwards and a guy popped out of the back of that seat and killed him, everybody would be saying, oh, he died because he didn't load his magazine right. No. He died because he got too close, because he let fight or flight take over to him, because he dumped his rounds through a windshield, which really weren't that effective, and then when he got too close and he got out, he had to do a mag change because he didn't think ahead. Those are the reasons why he got killed. If he had gotten killed, that's what people would be saying. Remember, the outcome always dictates how people are going to see what you did. All right. Where's this guy right here? I put a comment laughing my ass off. Good departments and FBI in the same sentence. The 10 is the same as the 40. Here comes the expert, dude. I don't know who you are. You made a couple of comments that I think you're super Mr. Expert. It wears out the weapon and irregularly. And he should at least range once. Here we go. Should go to range at least once a month. Long range. Extra power they bring. Not worth the wear and tear of the weapon. So this guy has all the questions figured out. This guy's the expert. If you guys need to know something, you need to go to this guy. So the 10 mil and the 40 is the same, and the 9 mil has 15 rounds, and for that reason, it takes fewer rounds, and it has less muzzle rise, even though there's a lot of studies that says the 9 mil has a different kick than a 40, and a 40 does not kick as much as a 9 mil. It's not as powerful or puts as much pressure on the wrist because a 40's got higher pressure, whatever, and you're shooting a heavier bullet versus a... There's so many things that could change this statement, but this guy has it all figured out. And then there's faster follow-ups, and it's more accurate. And the FBI and good departments have all went back to the 9. Ooh, all you dummies not using the 9, you aren't with the FBI. Dude, are you from here, from ASP? Because a lot of guys come from ASP seem to always be experts at everything. All right, where are we going here? Rick, why are you cracking on the guy? Look, you can listen to this guy. He may be the smartest guy in the world. I don't know him. I'm just going by the comments. When people come here with absolutes, they got all the answers, that tells me they don't. That's just me. Let's see. In Florida, 15 years of prison for a warning shot. Okay, so on this guy right here, shit, I'm at 38 minutes. Felony charges on this guy because a bullet came down and killed a girl. I've heard this probably 100 times in my life. I've actually seen it, let me think, 0. I've actually seen proof of it, 0. I've actually seen studies where this happens, 0. But I always hear, if you shoot a gun in the air, the bullet's going to come down and kill you. Now, I agree it's probably going to hurt, and maybe some of my little engineers can figure this out. If a bullet comes out of a gun, and when it's falling, I believe terminal velocity is what, 112, 120 miles per hour? I forgot, 100 feet per second. 120. I don't remember what terminal velocity is. I could look it up, go to Google and play that I'm smart and cut it in here. But just by offhand, if a bullet is falling and it's not spinning and it's going to be either deformed or it's going to be falling at a different rate than it is coming out of the gun, what's it going to hit you? A 100 grain bullet falling at 100 miles an hour, how much damage is it going to do? I watch baseball players get hit with a baseball, which is a lot bigger than a bullet, at going 100 miles an hour, and they go out, shake it off, and run to first base. So if a bullet that weighs 115 grains is falling and it hits you, is it really going to do more damage than a baseball flying at 100 miles an hour? I get it. A baseball is round. It's going to have a larger surface area when it hits. I know there's a whole bunch of science in there, but I would like to see some sort of proof and stats that a 115 grain bullet from a 9mm shot in the air, how high will it go, and how fast will it fall, and what type of force when it hits you will it go. I'm not even sure it will break the skin. I could be wrong. Now, maybe if you're a liberal and you got nothing but mush for brains, when it hits you, it'll pop your head like a marshmallow. You know, but a spitball would do the same thing to most liberals. But I'm telling you, I want facts on this. I want good information. I don't want theory and talk, and I heard, and Billy Bob told me, and I once read, and somebody told me, and a guy with a green screen said this is truth, and I believe him. I want something that makes sense with some facts behind this. Somebody help me out on that. All right, let's go to the next one. Sorry, dude, and I'm not cracking on this guy. Albert's a good commenter. He's been around for a long time. He makes good comments. So don't be hating on him because he said that. Let's see here. Maybe he saw them shoot through the windshield in a movie. Heat. Okay, maybe. Oh, here's my expert dude. He did well to put one down. Too bad one lived. He did a good job. The hard situation is considered. Good work, officer. Thanks for your service. Okay, I'm good for that. I'm good with that. I don't know if he's talking about me. Thanks for the service of the guy shooting. Doesn't matter. I just got a problem when somebody gets too specific and tells me absolutes. You will never hear me tell you absolute the 45 is the best round to carry. It's the only round. If you carry anything else, you're an idiot. I will tell you, I've seen 45 go through windshields, and I've seen 9mm and 40 bounce off windshields. I like the 45. I think bigger is better. I like more speed. If the 45 shot out at 1,600 feet per second, I'd like it more. I like 45 plus P because it's faster. Is it the only absolute #1 round ever? I don't know. I just don't think there is one. But I like it. I carry it. I think it's a great round. I think it's better than 49mm. But I'm not going to tell you that all other rounds are. So anybody that tells you different is wrong. And I'm the smartest guy. And I know all the facts. And I know everything. And the 45 is best. That's just not what I do. I know people would like that. And some people like to hear that because it makes them feel good if they use it, if they believe in it. But you know what? I like facts. I like experience. I've seen the 45. It was in wars. It killed a lot of people. It makes a good size hole. It transfers energy good. It's a 230 grain bullet out of a pistol. I like it. But is it the end all? There's going to be people that the 10 mil and the 500 Smith & Wesson is the best, and you don't know what you're talking about, the 50 caliber. All right, whatever. Look, it's a sharing information. Put it out there. I would like more factual comments that somebody could look up the source. The LEOS 4, he's not a rook. Oh, another guy. Man, good catch. Mike, woo! Thanks for catching that, man, because I missed that, and, I just would have never realized that and got that comment. Damn. Do police use break for... Some agencies will break for emergency traffic. Some people will just say emergency. In Sacramento, we would say priority traffic. If I wanted to get something out and wanted people to shut up, I'd go, 721 priority traffic. And everyone else would shut the hell up and dispatch goes 721. And they would give me the error. Can you use break? I'm sure you could. But I don't know if it's standard. Most cops and dispatchers can tell when you're in an oh shit moment. I mean, most people will change their voice when shit's happening. It's just the way it is. Let's see. I digress. He has XD bog dice on his handgun. Okay. I don't know what that means or why that's important or why it's relevant. But Toxic Warbanger thinks it's relevant. And sometimes when I hear these comments, I'm like, I wonder what the hell they're trying to say. I'd like to know. Try to make your comments more understandable so when somebody reads it, it's worth you typing. A lot of the comments are short and sweet. You know what you're talking about, but when somebody reads it, it doesn't convey the message. Let's see. Uber knows real time where every car is at. Video from your phone can be live streamed to other people. It seems that police could get technology and upgrades. And no, some agencies have those 4 antennas that will give you the location of the car. And they can watch you real time. It's very expensive. It gets broke. It requires maintenance. It requires taxpayer dollars. They need more government money to get it. And when you put it on all the cars, some cops don't like it because when I go and park and sleep, I don't want them to know that I'm sitting here for the last 4 hours in the same spot because they'll know I'm sleeping. So there's issues on why not all agencies accept that. I didn't sleep on duty. I've fallen asleep a couple times, but I never intentionally slept. I know guys that bring pillows, but that's another topic. I digress. Nothing wrong with a solid teacup grip. I absolutely disagree with this. The teacup grip is the most unstable BS old school grip around. I would never use it unless I had to. If my hand was on a table, then I might use it as teacup as a cushion, but I would just soon put my magazine or my gun on the table itself, has a supported position. Solid teacup grip, nothing wrong with it. I disagree with that. This guy may be the best shooter in the world in this position. He may have done this his whole stinking life, and he has 14 stripes on his sleeve, which means he's not a rookie. But you know what? I just disagree with that. That's okay. We can disagree. I've never heard nor would I have thought of a foot-activated mic. Okay. Charlie 4's mine is literally going about 1.5 miles a minute. He is. You get overtasked. Remember, you can talk so many words a minute, and you can think like 1,000 thoughts a minute. I mean, it's like 50 times more you can think faster than you can talk. And you can talk pretty damn fast. So when you go into fight or flight, time slows down when in fact you're going a mile a minute, but it seems slow. So, you know, ever been in an accident? Time slows down. Ever been shot or in pain? Had a major significant event? Sometimes time will slow down a little bit. It appears it slows down when in actuality your heart rate goes up, your blood pressure goes up, your breathing goes up, all these other things are going up, but you think time slows down. That fight or flight is an amazing thing. I have a page. I'll put a link. Read that page, understand yourself, and start picking it up. Anytime you see a crisis, a car wreck, a high-risk incident, start picking up fight or flight. The more you can recognize it and other people see it and spot it, the more you're going to recognize it when it starts affecting you, and that's going to help you diffuse it, override it, and control it. Let's see. UB Spice Crazy Talk, triple mags. I always carried 3 mags. I had 1 on my gun and 2 on my body, if that's what he means. Not a fan of shooting through the glass, obviously reasons stated. I'd love to see the tested effects. Shooting a window, questionable. Stop bouncing around. Is this the guy that said there's a Humvee and it's bulletproof glass and other people jumped on him for whatever? Great lessons. Okay. Everybody thinks they're a cowboy till shit hits a fan. That's right. Everybody's got a plan until a plan goes to shit. Let's. Never heard of foot switch. Okay. We're getting to the top here, people. Let's see. Is he shooting a Glock 22? I wonder what type of ammo does the Metro use. Seem effective. Whatever type of gun ammo. Thanks. I have no idea. Every agency picks their own. We carried SXT at my agencies. Winchester SXT. It's the law enforcement ammo. It's the same thing as the Black Talon. SXT. We used to make a joke. It was the exact same thing. SST stands for same exact thing as the Black Talon. We had to get rid of the Black Talon because of Black Lives Matter, and everybody thought because it was black it was racist. So everybody folded, and now they don't make black bullets anymore. Let's see. But it's the same bullet. It's just not black. It's copper. So Copper Lives Matter hasn't been developed yet, so we can still have copper bullets. Rick, your insight is awesome. Okay, thanks. Appreciate that. Definitely not a veteran. Humvees have ballistic glass. You don't shoot. Bullets start bouncing around. Okay, well, you may shoot bullet glass. It may bounce, but as soon as it hits something else, it's not going to bounce. It's, you know, unless you're in a completely enclosed bulletproof area, it's not bouncing around. Plus, the bullet's going to get deformed. It's going to slow down every time it bounces. It's going to have less velocity. It's going to change the diameter. It's not going to penetrate as much, and it's going to slow rapidly. But that's not the point. I get it. You don't want to shoot through ballistic glass because your bullets won't go through. Okay. I didn't see any Humvees in this vehicle. I agree. I didn't either. Not all Humvees have to. So we have these people who are jumping on the expert because they know that he's wrong. Because it's easy to find something that's not necessarily 100%. Remember, there's no absolutes. And when people make absolute statements, Humvees have ballistic rated glass. That's not true. Not all do, some do. So these guys pointed that out. Does it need to be pointed out? I don't know. I know it gets old when it gets pointed out on me 400 times a day because this is only one video. I have thousands of videos and I got thousands of people every day correcting me on shit that I said 6 years ago. you know, you said this and you're full of crap and you said, oh God, I mean, it's just, you have no idea till you read all these comments and go through this. What the technique, whatever gets piece of shit Glock, recycled Pringle can, Prius. What the hell is this comment? They're called my circles, but fight is G19 is fantastic firearm. The 1911 is outdated, low capacity, all steel, heavy. He's right. The 19 is old. It does have a low capacity. They tend to be heavy, but they have lighter ones. They have a great trigger. They have a 10 times better trigger than a Glock. They usually have a longer barrel and more accurate. You can get them with shorter barrels. Again, there's no absolutes. All 1911s, not bad. All Glocks, perfect. Not true. All Glocks, I think, go bang when you pull the trigger. All 1911s do not go bang when you pull the trigger. They malfunction. They have tighter tolerances. They get dirty. They don't work as good. Does that mean it's a bad firearm if it's not cleaned and with the right ammo? No. There's no absolutes. Yeah, I've heard that before. I don't like Glocks. I use them. Own several. I'll stick with my wide body 1911 and 15 rounds. Y'all can use the Lego pistols. Yep, see, again, this guy, 1911's the thing. Everybody uses the Glock as a Lego dummy. You know, I just don't see absolutes like that, people, but some people do as you read these comments. Always enjoy the commentary. Thanks. Let's see. Thanks, Rick. Those are the good, easy comments. Thanks. Appreciate it. Yeah, okay. Hey, man, you nailed it. Knocked out part. Thanks, okay. What we got here? He is off on the reload because he was trying to reload his left side. Mag is set up and already up for now. That's not necessarily true. You can have a mag set up for either side. This guy, again, another absolute. This guy knows why this guy messed up his reload. He also knows that because I said it was because of fight or flight, that I was wrong. And he had to point that out. So the reason this guy was off, this guy knows, Mark, he was there. He's got all the facts. He was off, not because of flight or flight, like you said, Rick, because you're stupid. It's because he was trying to reload on his left side. Guess what? I can reload on my left side. I don't twist the gun sideways. I can reload on my left or right side. I'll bet you $1,000 I can do it, Mark. Again, sometimes people just come here to point out on how smart they are and how they know all the facts and how someone else is wrong, and it really doesn't contribute. I mean, could it be, now if he'd have said he could have messed up his reload because it was off the outside, to me that would be a reasonable comment. Could be, you're right. Could be because of fight or flight, could be because it was on his left side. But he made a statement that he was off on a reload because he was trying to reload. That sounds like a fact. That sounds like it's 100%. That sounds like he knows all the factors, and this is a statement. It's not necessarily an opinion that could or could not be true. Could I be reading it wrong? Sure. He's left-handed. The problem with the mag's on his belt. Okay. Again, this guy knows all the answers. People will find things to justify their belief. It's called normalcy bias. It's called confirmation bias. I want to confirm that I'm right, so I will look for things that confirm that, and I will ignore things that do not. If he has to admit that fight or flight caused this, it does not support his reloading from the left side. Therefore, he ignores fight or flight, and he concentrates out. To me, that's negative training. That's closed-minded training. That's not trying to get better. That's trying to show everybody that you're already good and you're perfect. All right, and I made some smart-ass comment. Man, you sure do know a lot of facts about watching this video. Anything to show how smart you are. Just from the comment, I would say you're an ass follower. Because you know what? Everyone that comes here and tells me ASP is better and I know ASP and I watch ASP, they always seem like they have all the right words, kind of like ASP does when he does his videos. He has the right words, but no experience to pull from and no actual justification of facts to back up what he's saying. It just sounds real good. Okay? You can believe and watch what you want. I don't care if you watch ASP. He may be the greatest guy in the world. I don't know him, whatever. Let's see. Shooting through the streets between moving is highly dangerous. I agree. It is dangerous. But letting the guy go and maybe take hostages and kill people is also dangerous. Guess what? Living is dangerous. You can trip in a bathtub and bang your head and die. So therefore, you shouldn't take showers and you should never go in a bathtub. Really? That's liberal thinking. Liberals are going to want no slipping signs in bathtubs to prevent people from slipping and falling in bathtubs. It just doesn't work that way in the real world. All right, let's see here. From the length of service on the stripes of the uniform, I'd say he's already been in the department for 12 years. Well, you would say that, but you may be wrong. He may have brought those from another agency and may be only on the department for 1 year. Definitely not a rookie. Maybe he is a rookie. Maybe he's never been in a shooting, never been in a pursuit, and never had to call a pursuit, and never had anybody shoot at him before. That would make him a rookie in my book when it comes to chasing people with guns. But that's just me. Although he could be new to patrol, kind of gave himself a way out there. Good cover, Ed. I was going to crack on you. Time does not equal experience. I know female cops who've been on for 10 years, did 1 year of patrol, never made a felony arrest, but they have all the hashtags on their arms. And that's true. A lot of women spend very little time on the road, and then they get some back office cush job because cops complain that they don't want them backing them up. So instead of firing them or getting rid of them, they promote them into a back office or cubicle cop job, and they get to be the school resource officer, or they get to be the community relations officer, or they get to be this officer that goes around and talks to people because they're cute in uniform and because somebody likes them and they don't want them on the streets. So the reason why you see a lot of women not on the road, but they're all over the department, that's why. Rick, you can't justify Raz. You're stereo. Shut up, you big dumb. Rick, would it be better to pull the interior rifle? When you start trying to pull rifles in the middle of pursuit, you take your eyes off the road, you're getting shot at. That sounds pretty good if you got time to think about all that. If you had a partner, then I would say, yeah, the partner could do that. But when you're trying to drive, trying to call a pursuit, trying to control other officers, trying to control yourself, trying to put out changes in directions, east, westbound, right turn, left turn, shots being fired, crashes, how many units are in here, answering the sergeant's stupid questions, when all that's going on, this is not reasonable to me. Is it a bad suggestion? Is it something to think about? No, but it's just not reasonable, and that's why. Let's see. I heard from an instructor that the slide wears out much faster if you always use a slide release, and eventually it won't lock back on an empty mag. He advised everyone to use a slide, never to use a slide release. It was more about how to make the firearm last longer. Don't know if that's right or wrong. Well, it depends. I would agree. The more you use the slide stop and pull it on and off, you're going to get more wear on it. Over the years, will it wear down? Yeah. Is a slide stop easy to replace? Yes. If it stops functioning, you can replace it. That is not the reason I would say don't use it. I mean, because a gun will wear out if you shoot a lot. So should you not shoot your gun a lot? A mags will wear out if you drop them on the ground a lot. Should you not drop your mags because it might break them and they might not work? No, because that's bad training. That goes back to CHP training, putting their rounds in their pocket after they shoot. You don't want to do negative training. You don't want to protect and baby your mags because they might break. You don't want to not use a slide stop because it might wear out. However, I don't think you should use a slide stop as a primary means to let the slide go forward because it doesn't enforce muscle memory to clear malfunctions, to fully compress the spring. Now, the slide lock does not like the slide all the way to the rear as much as it does. Therefore, there is still more spring compression that can happen. When you do the slingshot, you get full spring compression, which normally will lessen the chance of a light load or the round not being fully seated or the slide not slamming the round in the battery so you can shoot. So that's another benefit to doing a slingshot. I know I'm going to have the experts here come here and tell me how I got that wrong because they get everything wrong. Shit. All right, windshields are cheap. $200 Safe Light. Safe Light will replace it in the middle. I love that, man. Safe Light's always like, we'll replace it while you're at a... That was funny. I laughed my ass off when I read that. Safe Light. Hey, Safe Light, I just shot a couple of rounds. I'm in the middle of a pursuit. Can you come? That could be a Safe Light commercial. They could like roll up next to them, do it while they're in a pursuit, take their old windshield off, put it on, and then let the cop drive off. I'm telling you, Safe Light, this is your new commercial for the Super Bowl because it will be great. All right, let's see here. Let's see. What are they teaching in racing? All right, 3 to 9. I guess I got it wrong again because I said 10 and 2 and 4 and 8. All right. So on a steering wheel, they're saying 3 and 9 for racing. Okay, here's the thing. If you're racing and you're just going in a straightaway and your biggest movements are less than a quarter of a turn just to go around a track, 3 and 9 may be better. I don't know. I was never taught 3 and 9 because I was never taught to drive on a racetrack in circles. I was taught police pursuit driving and they taught hand over hand, 10 and 2, or 4 and 8. And that's because when you're making turns, you're moving left and right a lot. You're doing a lot more steering. You're going around obstacles. You're going over curbs. You're turning 90-degree angles. You're making right turns, left turns. You're making curves. You're stopping. You're making U-turns. You're doing all kind of things with your hands, and keeping both hands in that area on the steering wheel has been proven to give you the most control of the car. Now, I'm going to tell you, 90% of the times I'm in a pursuit, I was with one hand on the steering wheel and one hand on the radio. Even if I had a foot mic sometimes, I would still grab that radio because muscle memory would kick in and I would just grab it. I felt comfortable and I drove with one hand. That's not the way I was taught. That's not the way the experts say. That's not the way they teach you to do it, which is why I say again, everybody who's hollering for training, if it's not comfortable, if it doesn't work for you, if you don't do it all the time, all the training in the world will not override experience, muscle memory, and the way you do it the majority of the time. Those are all the comments on that shooting. It's been an hour. Now you know what I go through. You're kind of in my mind on what I go through when I read these freaking comments and the things that I'm talking about. Hopefully you got a lot out of this. I answered some questions. I'm going to try to do this on the videos where I think there's a lot of I'm splicing this in. I ended this video and I said, that's it. And I shut down, and I came back and I refreshed, and I had a brand new comment where a guy told me I got it wrong. So I had to cover this comment from Shoot dude. All right. So I come back here. Here's his comment. Oh, God. So this guy's gun handling is just not there. I know what you're saying too, but I've been in a gunfight and several fight or flight situations. What's the point of training if you're just gonna forget everything? Well, not everybody's perfect like you, and this guy is talking like he's perfect because he is 100% convinced from this comment that because he trains good, no matter what happens, he's gonna do exactly like he was trained. All right. If this guy had good mechanics, he would never be grabbing a pistol like that. I might agree with that. I agree that if you do something the same way and you only do it one way, the odds are in a crisis you're going to do it that way without thinking about it. However, in the real world, you can't do everything the same way every time, all the time. He's probably never trained and could not train enough to shoot through his windshield, have his ears ringing, be in flight or flight, and then have to undo his seatbelt, turn the car, ram into a guy that's about to shoot at him, be worried about getting shot at, keeping his eyes on the car, and then grabbing his gun, undoing his seatbelt, and getting out of the car. My guess is he's never trained for that situation. Now, I agree that fundamental good training and basics, you will resort back to it and you will go to it. But for you to sit here and make this comment like you are the absolute expert in all fight or flight situations, and absolutely if you have good fundamentals, it will always work out, I'm going to call bullshit, dude. But that's just me. We can disagree. He is lucky he did not induce a malfunction. I agree. He could have easily made a malfunction. If the slide hit his thumb and his thumb didn't move, it could make it a short rack and the bullet wouldn't eject. It could have caused a fail to reject or fail to feed. He could have had a malfunction, and he is lucky. But you know what? You can't say that training would have absolutely got that out. I mean, first of all, nobody has a training budget and time like, let's say, the Navy SEALs. That's all they do is train. They train 98% of the time, and maybe 2% of the time is actual missions. On those type of scenarios, you can train out almost all bad habits, and you can make some hell of a muscle memory in your body. But most normal people who aren't getting paid to train 98% of their life are not going to get to that level. So you do the best you can. Am I not saying that you shouldn't train as much as you can and be it? No, I'm not. But for a comment to come here and dog this guy and say it's flat out his fault for not being, now, and I agree with this guy. This guy, to me, was not ready for this. He didn't train enough. He didn't have enough good fundamentals. A lot of errors, a lot of holes in his training showed up in this. But this guy wants to make me wrong about blaming fight or flight and him right because he's got all the answers. All right. The cops just don't put gun in their hands enough. I agree. And what's your solution? That's a great comment. I think everybody would agree with that. Even cops. What's your solution? Cops should train 98% of the time and only work the streets 2%. Yeah, that'll work. If we just increase the taxes by like 400% and we hire 10,000 cops to 1, that way we can have 9,000 cops in training for 8 months out of the year, and then for 4 months out of the year they can go on the road. And then we can put them back in. That's just absolutely ridiculous, dude. I mean, it's easy to come here and sound like you're brilliant, but people sometimes are going to see your brilliance as bullshit. This guy isn't doing dry practice home. Maybe he is. Practice does not make perfect. Perfect practice makes perfect. So if he's practicing wrong, CHP practicing putting their empty casings in their pocket did it perfect. It was bad, but guess what? In a crisis, they did it perfect, just like they trained. Isn't putting any time at the range. This guy, man, knows everything about this guy. This guy isn't dry practicing. He's not putting time into the range. He isn't taking classes to learn. Man, this guy's just totally screwed up. This guy is pretty critical of this guy. Stop saying fight or flight. Oh, here he comes on me. Oh, I can't say fight or flight. Ooh, I'm in trouble. I can't say fight or flight. Dude, you're about to put me in flight. Shut the fuck. Jesus Christ. Stop saying fight or flight is a reason for every lazy cop who won't practice and never establish repeatable performance with a pistol. Look, I agree. More training is better. And if you train enough, you can hopefully prevent this. But most people do not train or understand fight or flight enough. And that's why it's big with me. I've seen it take a lot of cops down in crisis. I've seen it take EMT, firemen down. I've seen it take too many people down, and I don't think it's taught enough or stressed enough. I stress it a lot because I think it's important, and I think it can help you. If you want to start a channel on training your entire life 99% of the time, knock yourself out. But to come here and tell me to stop saying fight or flight's a reason, dude, your comment's constructive, but I'm going to call bullshit. Bill Blowers, or here we go with name dropping. Bill Blowers, Jared Reston, etc. just forgot everything they know the second they get in some shit. I don't know what the hell that means. He shot way faster out the window. I'm betting he could have 7 yards. Maybe, maybe not. Maybe he shot because he was in fight or flight and his heart rate was up and he's pulling trigger a lot faster than he's ever done before. He fumbled everything else. I don't know if he fumbled everything else. I would like to know this Mr. Great Training, where training fixes everything, how many times he's been in a pursuit, how many times he's been in a pursuit using one hand, trying not to crash a car and talking on the radio and calling out a pursuit. How many times has he been shot at while he's in a pursuit talking on the radio? How many times? I'd like to know all this information, but you don't know that. You have experts that come here and will tell you everything that everyone else did wrong because they got it all figured out. He fumbled everything else seconds to establish a grip getting out of the car. Well, maybe. I'll bet $10,000 right now this guy just doesn't have repeatable skills with a pistol. And stop saying fight or flight. Guess what? Just because you said that, fight or flight is not an excuse. It's reality. It happens. And it'll happen to you, Mr. Perfect. If you ever get in a situation that you haven't been in, that you can't train for, and if you tell me you've trained for every situation, I'm going to call bullshit again. But that's just me. But like I said, people, I went through all these comments and I was like, okay, let me refresh, see if I can put a new comment. And second comment down, I'm getting told how I got it wrong, how I'm making excuses, how I shouldn't say fight or flight, and how this guy has all the answers and he knows everything that this cop's doing wrong. Man, you know, you would think with all these experts out here that everyone would just know everything and we wouldn't have all these mistakes happening in real life, not training on the range. All right, now I'll go to the end of it. Confusion, and this again was on the video, police pursuit tactics, shooting from the vehicle. All right, we'll end that there.